All right. Howdy Internet, it's Chris from Ride Apart, and the bike that I'm on today, this is the 2017 Triumph Bonneville T100. Now, I thought what I'd do for this video, I'm going to approach it sort of the way that Triumph approaches a press ride. If you were to ever go on a press ride with Triumph, you would notice that they don't give you a lot of facts and figures before you get on the bike. They don't tell you horsepower, they don't tell you torque. Yeah, they don't tell you the hork either. They just keep everything a mystery. And the reason that they do that is because they want you to connect with the bike in a natural and emotional way, rather than you thinking about a bunch of statistics. So if you want to know the statistics, if you want a lot more detail about this bike, definitely head to rideapart.com and check out my story there. So what's my response to the Bonneville T100? Well, I'm not even going to try to be unbiased here. I love this motorcycle. I absolutely love it. And a lot of that has to do with the history of this bike. It goes back all the way to 1959, the model does. Back in the 1970s, my father-in-law, he rode a Bonneville. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, when my wife was a little girl, she would cut out pictures of classic Bonnevilles and tape them to her wall. But I feel even a stronger connection because the Bonneville, more than any other bike, is the bike that brought me back to motorcycling. I got my license when I was 18, but then in my 20s, life kind of went a different way and I stopped riding. But then I was here in the UK and I saw a Triumph Bonneville for the first time. They didn't have them back in the Midwest. I'm sure they did, but I never saw them. And I just thought, that is the bike for me. I absolutely loved it. Now that bike was the previous generation Bonneville, the one that was replaced just recently, I guess just this year. And I never bought one of those because there were a couple of issues that I had with it, primarily the lack of anti-lock brakes. I know that a lot of the old guys will tell you that you don't need ABS, but old guys will tell you a lot of things that aren't true. So let's break this bike down, top to bottom, front to back. One of the first things you'll notice about the Bonneville T100 is that it is crazy gorgeous. I mean, it is just such a beautiful motorcycle. A lot of people refer to the Bonneville T100 as an entry-level Bonneville, and I think that's kind of misleading in a way because the fit and finish of this motorcycle is definitely not entry-level. You've got wonderful paint, a lot of attention to detail. Triumph has spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of care making a motorcycle that you can be proud of and that you can hold on to for quite a long time. And the second thing you'll notice, once you throw a leg over, you fire up the engine, you're going to love the sound of the engine. I realize you can't hear it over this microphone, but just trust me, it's this really nice, bassy rumble. It's not too loud, it's not going to upset the neighbors, but it just sounds fantastic. And one of my favorite places to be is right here, 60 miles an hour on a Bonneville T100. And I've got this soundtrack, it's just in the background. It's the soundtrack to the awesome movie that is my life. I've got to find where I'm going to go, gotta find, pay attention, where am I going? I think I'm going this way. I hope I'm going this way. The engine, of course, is the same engine that you're going to find in the Street Twin, the Street Cup, the Street Scrambler, and so performance is very similar to those. Although I think, I don't know, but it certainly feels this way, that this engine is just a little bit more torquey. Handling is about what you would expect for a bike like this. You can touch down the pegs if you try real hard, but if you're trying real hard, I think you've got the spirit of the Bonneville all wrong. The brakes, meanwhile, offer plenty of whoa for all of that go. You got a single disc up front, single disc in the rear. That is enough, genuinely. It's not sport bike braking, but this isn't a sport bike. You can bring it to a stop with 2 fingers. That's really all you need. I've mashed on the brakes really hard. It comes to a stop. It stops. What more do you need? And that's kind of the thing about the Bonneville T100. It is a thoroughly modern motorcycle in the sense that it delivers everything you want from a modern motorcycle, and delivers it so well that you don't really think about that stuff. You don't sit and think about, say, handling. It just goes through corners. You don't worry about the suspension. The suspension, by the way, is better than the previous generation Bonnie. And related to that, it is a hell of a lot more comfortable. So, as I say, this was a short video just giving you some of my impressions of the Bonneville T100. But I think, in summary, what we can say is, number 1, this bike is awesome. Number 2, this bike is fantastic. Number 3, I love this motorcycle. That's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later.